Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a sort of just kind of giving my thoughts on video, as well as you guys can discuss your opinions about this one in the comment section below. And that is, what are we seeing in the final scene, the final sequence for the mid-season 8 premiere of The Walking Dead, where you have Rick sitting against a tree with a pretty huge knife through his hand. And spoiler warning as per usual, if you haven't seen the mid-season premiere for The Walking Dead Season 8 yet, which is Episode 9, Honor. So I want to do this one kind of as an add-on for the review that I did for Episode 9 for you guys, because quite a few people asked, wanted to hear my thoughts on this scene in particular. Now, there's a lot of kind of out of chronological order sequences in the episode, and even in the season. I mean, if you look back to the Season 8 premiere, where you have Rick waking up and everything like that, a lot of questions about, you know, what scene is from where, which ones are part of a dream sequence, which ones are real, you know, are the ones that are kind of more fuzzy, are those part of a dream sequence, are the ones that look more kind of, you know, regular filming without the filter, like this scene here, as well as some of the red-eyed Rick scenes and the Mercy quote, my mercy prevailed over my wrath, you know, is that from a different time? So do we have a few different you know, scenes here that are not exactly all dream sequences? Do we still have some this season that may actually be flash forward sequences, even though a lot of them turned out to be kind of Carl's dream on what he's seeing? And I think the simple answer to that is I think yes, I think there are. I think the red-eyed Rick sequence that we saw earlier on this season, we've been seeing every so often, and we saw, you know, quite a bit of in this this episode here, specifically this part at the end, which this part also fits in with those sequences we saw with the red-eyed Rick this season, as they've been kind of showing them. This one's pretty brutal, and if you weren't watching carefully at the end of the episode, you may have missed it, because it's just literally, it's quick and it's only a few frames, and if you don't look really carefully, or maybe you don't have HD, because if you don't have HD, you might not even notice upon first viewing when it first airs, that Rick has a huge, what looks to be like a butcher knife through his damn hand, or a pretty big knife, and he's also injured on his right side below his chest there, and his side of his abdomen there, in a very similar spot to where Carl was bitten, which is really crazy. He also seems to be kind of having some trouble breathing, this kind of thing, and it's right at the end of the episode, right after you see Judith kind of go over, and you have Negan who kind of says hello darling to her, that kind of thing. So she says hi to him, he says hello darling back to her, which looks to be probably a dream part. But this part afterwards looks like it still might be a flash forward sequence where we could possibly be seeing Rick kind of come to or wake up due to maybe the blood loss causing him to maybe pass out, or maybe just passing out due to the all the exertion he had to just put out during All Out War. If this is a flash forward sequence that we're seeing here, maybe it could be from the Season 8 finale. Could it be from possibly the final battle between Rick and Negan? Could Negan have somehow got him in the hand with a pretty big knife and injured him at his right side there? You know, it certainly sounds like that would fit. Now, could this be a scene where if Rick has defeated Negan, maybe Negan is asking, like, why are you letting me live? Or why would we let him live? Why would you let him live? Maybe someone's asked him, or he's just kind of like out of it and decides not to kill Negan, and he kind of says to himself the quote, my mercy prevailed over my wrath, maybe after what Carl has kind of given him, or kind of the dream that Carl has instilled, and then maybe he will, as a result, allow Negan to live, even though he, you know, it looks like just, you know, stabbed him through the hand with a giant knife. So it sounds like Siddiq is going to have work already, either that or get him to the hilltop and have Dr. Carson check him out. So I do not think this is Rick's death scene here, as some people have already kind of started to predict or started to think. I think it simply would be maybe the final battle in All Out War, mano a mano, Rick versus Negan, and then maybe the survivors will find him afterwards and will bring him to the hilltop to recuperate and everything, and possibly capture Negan if that's the end of the battle and Rick has defeated Negan at that time. So you can see kind of the glass is similar to the red-eyed Rick sequence. So it sounds to me like if that's correct, if this is correct, then a lot of what we've been seeing this season are dream sequences. But to add to it, to make it even a little bit more complex than just that, this sequence here may not be a dream sequence. It may actually just be like a flash forward sequence after the battle is done. Or there's always the possibility it could be like a nightmare type of dream, because he does kind of wake up in that state. If you guys see the episode, he kind of comes to, so to speak, and sees himself there, and he's like barely breathing and barely alive. So it could be some kind of a nightmare type of situation. But to me, without any filters or anything like that, or too many like the other clips do have, it looks to me like it might be kind of one of the final kind of clips from the season, or one of the final pieces of the season that we're seeing them kind of put in now and show us ahead of time as a flash forward. And, you know, of course, there was always the question of whether or not Rick would lose his hand, and they can't do that because they'd have to CG his, you know, they'd have to cut off his hand, CG it all the time. It's too hard to do. But they could have him get stabbed through the hand, I think, and then he couldn't use his hand. So it would basically be the same as the comic book series, where the comic book version of Rick does not have a hand. The TV series version of Rick could, but it could have nerve damage and could be, you know, to the point where it's borderline useless or something. So let me know what you guys think about the clip. Leave your comments below, and any speculation about any of the other clips we saw here. Which ones you think will come true, maybe? Which ones are dream? Which ones, you know, maybe something else? Let me know what you think, and what do you think of this theory that scene at the end is actually a flash forward sequence and not a dream sequence? Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share a favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And you can do so at the bottom left. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.